Hello, this is G. Today we're talking Aries through the degrees. So this is the third video of the series. The series will take a walk through all 30 degrees of each astrology sign. And you found me at number 3, Aries. Oh, let me back up. You found me at the third video of the series, which is Aries at 2 degrees, 2 degrees of Aries. If you don't understand Aries energy, going back to the Aries at 1 degrees will give you a really good understanding of Aries energy, pure Aries energy by itself. So Aries at 2 degrees, we're going to blend in a little bit more meaning. If Aries is, I want to take the lead, I want to start, I want to initiate, I want to do something where I feel like I've definitely never done it before and possibly nobody else has ever done it before. Pioneering energy. Aries at 2 degrees is going to do this with things pertaining to what it desires, what it loves. Ooh, shiny. Something that its eye gets drawn to, like, oh, that's beautiful. I must have it. Aries isn't just going to think about it, because Aries doesn't do a whole lot of thinking, but it will feel very impulsive. And because we're talking Aries, it'll take action towards something that it values. So desire energy is going to be strong with Aries at 2 degrees. And it's not just simply desireful, but it's going to be physical about it. It's going to be doing something with its body about it. So whether that means I'm going to be working for the things that I desire, meaning I've found a way to make an income at that which I desire or that which I want to have. Ooh, I see that object in the window. How do I go about getting it? Well, let me find out how much it costs. And Aries will be very active towards it. Active towards it too in a very spontaneous way, where it's all of a sudden it catches its eye and it says, ooh, let's go check that out. Let's see. It has this youthful sort of, oh, I wonder, almost a little naive even, because Aries, after all, is the child of the zodiac. And so when it comes to what it desires and whom it desires, Aries may seem a little green behind the ears. It may go through a whole lot of experimenting. And maybe experimenting is giving a young Aries energy a little too much credit, because Aries is really just more about, let's start this. Let's taste test. Let's sample. Let's, that's Aries. It doesn't want to sit on the bench. It wants to get involved. And when you hear Aries energy, it's people who want to get their hands dirty. They want to be in it. They want to be knee deep in something. They want to be actively involved, not watching from the distance. No, they're the ones on the field. They're the ones, whether it's a playing field, sports, whether it's a battlefield, like they're physically going to use their bodies. So when you think of desire energy and bodies, we can come up with a few different images of how that might look, because Aries is going to just kind of act. And at the 2 degrees, this can be somewhat sensual. It can be very focused on, touch and appearances, for sure. Things and people that it is drawn and attracted to. Number 2 can have a magnetic quality to it. So when we mix that with Aries, this is where Aries will be driven, will be filled with desire, and will not sit around. It's going after it. And it will defend it. It won't just pursue, although that's definitely Aries. It wants It prefers to be the pursuer. So when you have an Aries at 2 degrees and we think of, relationship dynamics, some want to be the pursuer, some want to be the pursuee. Like I'd rather somebody chase me or show interest in me, and then I feel like I can, you know, whatever, control and decline. Or am I the kind where I want to just be like, ooh, I'm going after that. I'm going after him, her, them, they. I'm going to take action. So I would consider it the pursuer because Aries energy loves to be the one who initiates. And so at 2 degrees, this might be a degree where you could see Aries expressing, taking action in terms of, you know, it wants to touch. And it might be, using smells and food. We think of creative beauty. So it could be flowers. It could be even like gifts that might even seem, I'm showing you a token of my, appreciation, or I'm sorry, of my interest, my admiration, not appreciation, my interest and my admiration. And, so that might be like little gifts, a Aries might early on in a relationship because it's early on, and we're going to get back to that because it's early on, Aries might be prone to buy jewelry, right? Something that's beautiful. So whether it's gold or anything that Aries thinks the love interest might like, or possibly even for itself. So when it comes to, yeah, clothing, anything that would make you feel like you feel beautiful. Oh, I need a new outfit. I need a new purse. I need a new pair of shoes. How about some perfume and some makeup? All Aries at 2 degrees, because Aries is the body and the appearance, but it can do likewise for a love interest. And so, speaking of a love interest, if Aries interested and Aries says, I'm going to actively pursue, I want this person to know, yeah, Aries is a fast mover. It isn't going to have a lot of patience. And this can be a major downfall because if it doesn't have any patience, it can lose. It can lose out on a great opportunity. It may be even the love of its life. Obviously, there could be a whole lot of other things in a chart, but Aries is easily distracted, easily to anger and frustrated, and just the patience is very. It's just got a small wick. Typically with Aries. Now, the 2 degrees can add a bit of patience to Aries energy because it's got that kind of vibration to it. It's partnership energy. It says, but it takes two to do that. So if you really want that, you might want to chill a little bit and wait. You might want to see where this takes you. And so that's one of the good things about the Aries at the 2 degree. The tricky thing, and this is not necessarily like, okay, this is how it will be always, but there would have to just be a caution added to this that in money and love, 2 degrees, partnerships, we would have to, with our Aries energy, kind of coach it. Because once Aries goes in, makes it known, yes, I want you, or I want this. And Aries has it, right? A month goes by, 2 months goes by. It's not new anymore. So what happens? Aries tends to lose interest only because it's on the naive and the young side. It never thinks long term. It's almost like it doesn't have the capacity. The first sign of the zodiac, how developed is your brain, right? So sometimes Aries energy, its impulses, its drive just kind of it just overpowers it and it goes with it, right? It just flows right along. It really is just kind of centered focus. But with the focus more on whether it's, something I am going after because I value it in some way, or I value that person in some way, Aries over time, whether it's a few months, a few weeks, whatever it is, it depends on, the maturity of the Aries level, which can be way down here. But if it's an older Aries, because after decades, they start to become that fine wine where it's like, oh, finally it's paying off. They're maturing. They see, they're looking in the mirror, they get it. They see, where they have this short wick. They see where they get easily agitated and bored and antsy and they just can't stand still, right? Or they're like the little child having a tantrum. But once they see that, I think it can be a wonderful combination. I think it can be successful if there's a partner that is patient. And so if Aries is fortunate, Aries, at the 2 degrees, whether it's your Venus there, right? But 2 degrees itself, think Venus. Yeah. So there is an opportunity for the Aries at 2 to develop into something beautiful and something that can be rewarding for both. And that's important because Aries typically tends to be centered focused. So with some of the other keywords that are popping in and that I'm hearing loudly actually is the stubbornness with Aries at 2 degrees. Some of the vices, 2 degrees, um, being stubborn and being rather possessive. Those are the two that are popping in strongly, the possessiveness and being stubborn. So, with that, a mature Aries, once they've lost enough, right? Once they've loved and lost, or once they've invested and lost, once they, then they learn, okay, maybe I should take this a little bit slower. Maybe I should just kind of, begin and then kind of step back and, like a dance, right? Like a dance where we're following the flow. And so there is definitely time that I feel can definitely be on Aries' side when we speak of the Aries at the 2 degrees. Some of the beautiful virtues of Aries at 2 degrees is it can be quite generous in terms of people that it's in relationships with, that it truly values. And it will take action in terms of establishing harmony and even peace, possibly, if this Aries is mature, right? But artistic and beautiful. So when we think of, the physical body, Aries at 2 degrees may select things to really amp up its appearance. And they would do that for their partner possibly as well. So I feel like in terms of purchases and gifts, although Aries tends to be quite impulsive, um, if it learns how impulsive it is and sees it, it can grab a hold of the 2 degrees, which would be really looking at something for, oh, it's not just shiny, it's not just beautiful, but it's a little bit on the practical side, like it's useful and there's some quality to it. It could last a long time. These would be things that could really help Aries energy. Anything that adds to its ability to look at something in terms of, the long term. That's what it kind of needs help with. And things that are more down to earth and more stabilizing. So the number 2 can do that for the fiery, untamed Aries energy, which can be, you know, very courageous and even a bit competitive, but, flying off at the handle at a moment's notice. And so there can be a little tapering of that energy. So overall, I think that Aries at 2 degrees can be quite beautiful. I would just put a caution because Aries by basic nature is, can be, ready to roll, ready to rock and roll at a moment's notice, which it would absolutely do for who and what it desires. And that means even possibly defending, but it's really more about fighting for somebody or something, right? Especially in terms of money and love. 2 degrees of Aries.